Have you ever wondered when was the credit score even invented? The credit score is one of the most influential aspects to our financial health, so in this video I will be going through a timeline of the history of the credit score from the beginning up to its current period. However, the credit score as we know it today is a fairly new concept as compared to its origin. So in order to give you an idea of where it all started, we need to go back at least 200 years so that you can understand its beginning. So the earliest form of credit reporting in the United States date back to the early 19th century. However, this form of credit system was not available to consumers. It was still a system to analyze the risk of lending out a loan, but it was originally designed for business customers only. At this time, they did not have major credit bureaus like we see today. However, in order for banks to know the creditworthiness of each business, they had to rely on many small local merchants to collect and report information about these businesses on a national level. However, it wasn't until the 1840s that Duns & Co. as well as the Bradstreet companies was the most relied on credit reporting agencies for the United States. Sound kind of familiar, right? Well, these two companies later merged as Duns & Bradstreet in 1933, which is known as the largest business credit reporting agency today. But just to backtrack a bit, at that time, both companies developed a alphanumeric scoring system in order to predict the risk factors of business applicants. However, this system was later criticized for being biased towards certain demographics. And it was during this time that the idea of consumer credit came to light for retailers as the workforce began to expand and new consumer products began to hit the market at a high demand. And this is when retailers begin to start offering lines of credit to their customers, whereas today's time, this is similar to a store credit card. And although this was a new market for the credit system, which resulted into new job titles like credit managers, it's important to know that the previous used credit evaluation methods for business applicants was now being used for consumers as well. But it was around 1912 where these credit managers formed a national association in order to develop a standard method for collecting, sharing, and codifying information on consumers who acquire credit from retailers. And as the 20th century began, RCC later renamed itself Equifax, and by the 1950s and 60s, FICO, TransUnion, and TRW Inc., which was later sold as Experian, all came on the scene. By the early 1970s, after the RCC announced the computerization of credit files for millions of Americans, the U.S. Congress passed a series of consumer protection laws, which we all know today as the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and later followed up with the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, which was aimed to discourage unfair credit reporting practices as well as discrimination. And by the mid-1970s and throughout the 1980s, the major credit reporting agencies had to continue to develop more efficient systems that abided by these laws for lending decisions. However, by the end of the 1980s, and 1989 to be exact, Equifax had hired Fair, Isaac and Company, aka FICO, in order to launch Beacon, which is known as the first modern credit score. So if you ever wonder how and when the FICO score began to become the preferred credit score method for many loans, it all started with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac announcing in 1995 that lenders would be required to use FICO scores on residential mortgage applications. And this announcement led to lenders using the FICO method for many other lending options moving forward. However, a little bit over a decade from that announcement, in 2006 to be exact, the three major credit bureaus created the Vantage score, which is also a separate entity, in order to compete with the FICO score. And throughout the years, both FICO and Vantage Score continued to release new versions of their software. And in 2009 to be exact, FICO introduced the FICO 8 scoring method, which is the most used credit score today. As far as what it is today, in the current years of credit reporting, we have seen some changes in regards to what is being reported on our credit reports. And what I mean by this is that credit bureaus are now allowing consumers to add other types of accounts to their own credit reports as a way to help boost their credit scores. For example, Experian introduced Experian Boost in 2018, which allows consumers to add many things from their bill payment history to subscription plans to their Experian credit reports, and soon after that, TransUnion adopted this method to allow consumers to boost their TransUnion credit reports. Alright guys, so that's the history of the credit score from the beginning up to its current period. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to smash the like button to show your support, and also don't be afraid to explore the channel for other videos similar to this or other business, finance, and credit related topics. I'll be sure to keep you guys posted, and I see you guys in the next video. Peace.